Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie List. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Number 8. Spike Lee's new joint was the opening film for the largely digital presentation of TIFF 2020. It is a filmed David Byrne Broadway concert of Talking Heads fame, which should surely appeal to existing fans. I am not an existing fan, but I reserve the right to be won over at the concert of anyone at times. It has happened, but not this time. I don't know. It is just not weird or visceral enough rock music for me. The band all wear the same monochrome suit with no shoes. They are a talented band full of great presentation and filmed in a way that does not show off, but has enough tricks to make it justified to be filmed. I had no idea Spike Lee was a Talking Heads fan, and while this is not my favorite joint by him by a long shot, it is a somewhat interesting piece of trivia that he is a fan, and it is a cool-looking concert film, no doubt. Number 7. I Care a Lot is a slickly entertaining gangster comedy about a lawyer who puts seniors in retirement houses against their will to get their money, which is quite diabolical behavior for a protagonist. It isn't about likability. It's about being an anti-hero up against a villain in this case, because the plot catalyst is that she does this to a woman in the Russian mafia, so things predictably spiral out of control. Because no one is moral in this story, what is not predictable is who will end up where, which is a strong point of the project, and really it is entirely competent from the visuals, the script, and the acting, so it should entertain you. I really enjoyed seeing Peter Dinklage as a Russian mobster. I think he gets great roles, and he deserves it. This movie has an ending that is totally worth it, so if you're looking to relax one night, you can pick way worse movies than I Care a Lot. Number 6. A Good Man is an LGBTQ plus love story that could be a heterosexual story and would still function as strong material. But it is what it is, and most people won't have a problem with what it is, and it will be a good thing if it offends. The movie is well-intentioned, but there's a particular lesbian pickup scene that I thought was interesting to see, as I never see this play out in real life. The lines used from flirting leading to closing is interesting. Hollywood movies play out as a male heterosexual orgasm from Act 1 to climax. I think we need more movies like this for heterosexuals to better understand the LGBTQ plus community to then restructure storylines in the future. How a lesbian woman gets seduced is quite different than how a straight man does, so to see that play out in one scene can be a good industry note as how to future movies of any genre could play out. Number 5. New Order looks at a fictitious Mexican revolution in Mexico City, so the movie goes from bourgeois cocktail party to chaos in the streets and camps instated for a transitional period. This movie has a plot that develops. I enjoy this transition to chaos. It creates a sense of instability within the plot, given where we were before to where we end up. It's this dialect with politeness masking savagery, since the masses lived in chaos beforehand and the rich happily let them live in cages. When the cages bust open and revenge is taken, we're on the side of the bourgeois. So it just seems crazy from a narrative perspective, but objectively, it has logic. This movie is certainly a visceral standout for TIFF 2020. You have to appreciate the primal to appreciate visceral cinema, and New Order is intelligent viscera that is neither contrived nor unearned. You should watch this movie if you can handle subtitles and constantly complain about Hollywood movies being hegemonic. Number 4. Simple Passion is an enjoyable movie that movie fans who desire a romantic movie that is nothing more than a simplistic formula from Hollywood rom-coms and are already enjoying modern European movies. The story revolves around a relationship between a cool, hip French woman and a broody, cerebral Russian man, which plays kind of interestingly during the new Cold War period we are currently in. I like the pillow talk, arguments, and time apart from another scene in this movie, which shows why Paris is a great place to be in love in. And for movies about this topic to be shot in, it all flowed well for me as a viewer. If you're such a hardcore Russiagator that this story offends you, I am glad. You are someone who perhaps art is not meant for. The new Cold War is referenced to, but if you think cultural differences mean people can't love each other, I suggest relaxing. Number 3. The Father is the best horror movie of the year that is actually not a horror movie. It is a novel depiction of Alzheimer's, starring Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman, which was one of my favorite movies I saw through TIFF 2020. Anthony Hopkins has the illness, and we see things through his point of view. Things unfold one way in a scene, just for everything to be undercut the next scene because of his failing mental faculties are always deceiving him. That is the structure of the movie, and it leaves us confused, alone, and afraid for a future, where this possibility happened to be us or one of our loved ones. As mentioned, it is truly a scary movie where no blood is shed. The movie is a one-trick pony for a low-budget movie like this, and that is fine. It is a strong concept, and Anthony Hopkins is absolutely fantastic in this role. He is lucky that such a role arrived to him at this stage of his life. Number 2. I enjoyed reading the book The Corporation and then watching the documentary by the same name nearly 20 years ago, so when I heard there was a sequel, I was both confused but mainly intrigued by the concept. The New Corporation, the unfortunately necessary sequel, examines a phenomena I had never articulated but I thought of to an extent, called philanthrocapitalism, where a corporation will window dress through charity to avoid taxation. The co-director and law professor Joel Bacon believes that anything short of taxation is unacceptable, and as a man with a very versatile career, he should be saluted for his bravery, for talking about his subject matter so uncompromisingly. The corporation says legally corporations are defined as individuals, and as individuals they collectively act like antisocial psychopaths. Number 1. Violation is the roughest movie I have seen in 2020. It is not just that it is the roughest movie I have seen of the year, from sheer physical spectacle, it is because of the psychological truth within the pages of the script and the intelligence of the decisions made by the creators. Set in a cottage environment, two couples are on a holiday for an infidelity to occur, which leads to panic, which leads to violence so intense that I could hardly look at various scenes. I was so afraid. Marketing this movie by saying it is like one movie by way of another movie would be very hard. It stands alone to me as something cruelly unique, coming from an unfortunately personal place that has a partial catharsis for the audience since it comes from reality. Violation was one of 3 movies that played in the Midnight Madness category until the 2020 edition of TIFF, but hopefully you will watch it in the future and it becomes a sort of singular movie for